So I think a lot of people are daunted by the fact that it's an interview.
Do you know why?
You can't make conversation.
Do you know why? Do you know?
Welcome back to my channel. It's Sibo and welcome to another episode of Lessons for Life. This is episode number 5 of the series. If you were interested on other videos that we've done in the series, the playlist is linked down in the description below. In the previous episode, we talked about writing your CV, and in this episode, we're going to be talking about preparing for an interview. And last time we had my amazing brother as a guest speaker, and this time we have my amazing brother as a guest speaker. Woo!
Hi guys.
So welcome back. How do you
So
feel?
much. I don't feel.
I told you, darling, I don't feel. Those are for people with hearts. Okay, so now we're going to be talking about preparing for an interview.
Yeah.
So first things first. First impressions matter. What do you suppose to look like when you go for an interview?
Look, I mean, definitely not dressed as I am right now. I think you need to be as, again, it's job dependent. You need to be as formal as you can. And I think also the formality then comes in with the extent to which they tell you, how formal you should be, or how formal you can be. Just as an example, don't forget, and this is what I always tell people, always ask for the brief, especially if the person calling you for the interview isn't the person who's going to interview you. So usually they would call, they'd ask a secretary or a PA or an admin person rather to call you to say, listen, please can you schedule this interview, because I mean they hardly do that themselves, right? Just ask for a brief, what's the dress code for the interview, or how would you advise? How would you advise I dress, And they should say, bro, this is how people dress on a normal day, as a woman, do you think, okay, this is how I should dress, as a guy, do you think this is how I should dress, and all of that. And that's always the first step in.
First step.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, depending on the type of company you're going to work for, like how important is it? Of course it should be, but how important is it to know the company that you're going to be working?
It's very important. It's very important because you applied to work at that company in the first place. Look, as people who employ kind of know that when you apply, sometimes you apply very blind. They know, they know, and not every job is a government job. So if you apply for government in South Africa in particular, they're going to ask you about what are the Batubele principles of, they're not gonna, or if you apply at the Department of Social Development, what are the Batubele principles that we usually apply? No, they don't do that. But with corporate or with small businesses, usually they'll want you to know a lot about their company, because usually they've got certain values and certain principles by which they actually stand and abide, and that's why you always think that's where you're briefing yourself, and so that while the interview is happening, you kind of lead them into the conversation given what you've read. But here's what I hate about most people, and some of the people that I've actually interviewed have done this before. They script so much, until you throw off that one question. I remember, someone, so the school website hadn't updated who the new principal was, and someone, cited, what that old principal stood for and all of that, and she was being interviewed by the new principal at the time. And I was still deputy, of course, and and we were like, okay, but you do know that he's no longer the principal. Upon like saying so, shame, that's. So it is quite important. It's also quite important to familiarize yourself. That's why I don't like, just please be 15 minutes early. Don't take that for granted. Don't nyats it. Stay nyats it. It's for you to walk around, have a walk about, get the feel of what's going on here, who's there, what's going on. Because then the first thing, usually they're late for the interview. Oh, sorry, late. I'm sorry late. We know we're supposed to start at 11. No, it's 10 past. I hope we didn't waste your time. No, not at all. I'm loving the work culture. I see how busy people are here. Is this what happens on a normal, on a normal day? You've already started the interview. Inadvertently, you've already started the interview. So we're not going to please can you tell me about yourself? No. You make conversation. The minute they say, oh yeah, sorry to keep you waiting. Yeah. I've actually been waiting my whole life for this post anyway, so the next 5 minutes worth the wait. How are you doing? Then they're gonna laugh. A joker! You know how they are? Yes!
Tell me more about yourself.
Yeah, no. I don't do
So
that.
now tell me more about yourself.
Yes.
Tell me more about yourself.
Yeah.
What are the other types of questions you can expect in an interview, and how do you answer them?
Look, I hate that question, by the way. Tell me more about yourself. Come on, I read your
gave
CV.
you a CV, dog.
Well, sometimes I'm going to LinkedIn, but yeah, but I think it's the more that's more important anyway. But should you get that question, tell them everything. That's not your work. I need to know, are you married? I need to know, what are your mental health challenges? What are your aspirations? I need to know, how many kids do you have? Do you have dogs? Are you a sucker for pets? What kind of person are you? Of course, I know you're into words, man. I know you graduated in 2009 or whatever. I know all of that. Tell me more about yourself.
That's not related to work.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I once got that question. I was like, well, besides the fact that I just got over heartbreak, what else? Oh, really? Oh, so no, don't worry. Yeah. So, I love soccer. I'm actually a goalkeeper. I'm passionate about debating. I coach kids. I run an NGO or an NPO on the side, which you're telling them about you. That's you. I love this. I'm passionate about this. I hate avocados. So then you like avocados here. You make it a conversation, man. It's an interview.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people are daunted by the fact that it's an interview.
Do you know why?
You can't make conversation.
Do you know why? Do you know? That's because, look, two most important skills in life. When you join public speaking and debating in school, they laughed at you. Do you understand? Yet you're able to walk into an interview confidently. Right? So it's not your fault that you wanted to learn the art of speaking and the art of motivation and the art of, yes. And that's definitely what's going to set you apart from the next person. Because you're able to make conversation, you're able to think critically about questions and all of that. So yeah, look, we can help them prepare for that, but to a degree, if you're on a lineup, you're 10, just know. I'm not saying that people are not going to get those jobs or whatever, but it's certainly what's going to set you apart. Do you know why? You're going to work with these people for like the next year or 2 or 3, for 8 hours, 9 hours. You're kind of showing them the kinds of conversation you guys are going to have together. You understand? Yes. If you know who it's going to let manager, and he loves hockey, listen, slide it in. Even if you went at that, rugby fest, kids last weekend, yeah. Sure, I've been tired all week. I actually went to the kids rugby fest last week. Really, my son goes there. Yeah, come on.
They love it.
We know, though. Yeah.
Okay, so the mentality of you going into the interview should be
that you're gonna have a conversation. That's it. What we're doing right now, we're gonna have a conversation. See, you and I talk. Not like this. We don't sit like this when we talk. But this is how we talk every day.
Yes.
This is how we talk every day. You're gonna have a conversation, man. You're gonna have a conversation. Of course, it's a first-time conversation. It's just about anyone. That's the mentality.
Should your mentality be, and on top of that, selling yourself for the job, or just being easy?
What is selling yourself?
I'm good for this job because A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
One that's
really interesting. Of
course, I think the culture as well as the skill of sales should start coming naturally to people, because that selling yourself aspect is very important. But to what degree are you going to sell yourself as much as you can? And other people go, do I oversell? Do I undersell? Dude, just talk, just sell. Have that conversation. I remember, one of your friends, Kat. He Catman, right? He went for an interview, right? He says that interview was more of a conversation because then, and again, going back to what we spoke about regarding likes and hobbies and all of that, because of where he applied, he knew what to include. And part of what he included, given his research, is his gaming culture, his love for games. He was like, the first 5 minutes were like, tell me about yourself, but like, the rest of the 45 minutes was on gaming culture and and how this, and there's this one dude who he's got t-shirt upon t-shirt up. That is, because look, we're gonna work together, man. Come on.
Yeah.
I
need to know if I can banter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, the end of every interview that I've been at is, do you have any questions for us?
When can I start?
I think.
And let's start. So when can I start? Yes.
So that's what else on top of when can I start?
So on top of when can I start? So it's usually those two questions. When can I start? Would you mind if I took a walk around just to see how? Yeah.
Okay.
Why? That's 1 foot in all the time. Never make that mistake to not ask that. That's always 1 foot in. You always want to familiarize yourself, to envision yourself. Yes.
And then does that give them the impression that you are ready to be a part of them?
Yes, and you are more interested in being a part of them? Definitely.
Then the typical question of how much does this pay? Or when can I expect to hear from you? How does...
Ahmed, no. Because these ones are very, they're quite open-ended. When can I start? Ooh, so I can see he's ready, And the thing is, you're going to leave that kind of impression in them. Yeah.
But you're always ready.
Yes, and get just one little tip, right? Is if, at the end of your interview, one of them has to go to the toilet, make a toilet trip. Easily. Make a toilet trip. Easily. That's because that small talk is very important. Even if he doesn't say anything, oh, it's you're still here. Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you very much. What an interview here. Yeah. How many candidates are there, by the way? I've got to ask him there. And I think you guys are 5, right? Yeah. Okay, really? Yeah. Okay. Well, cheers. Good luck. Good luck. Thank you. Done. Small talk. Why? I think I actually like that guy. Yeah.
He's my cup of tea.
Yes.
Okay. So now, how do you handle more than one panelist or more than one interview? You go in there, you're expecting the one person, and then you arrive and there's 7 or 3 to 7 people. How do you then shift your mindset or recalculate, rethink, how am I going to be in this interview?
Good. I think there's always 2 preparations for this. Number 1 is understand that, especially if you're going to be working in corporate, basic business studies. I think that should be a compulsory subject, by the way. Basic business studies teaches the 8 functions of business. So every single person that holds a particular position in a function of business is important. So the head of production, the head of marketing, the head of purchasing, the head of finance, if sometimes it could be all of those people, sometimes it could be a particular aspect of a team. So you've got your immediate supervisor, and you've got the manager to that particular supervisor, the team leader or whatever. Then you've got your direct line manager, and it's hardly the CEO that's going to be in there, because sometimes they are there. And usually you always need to envision yourself working with those, because everyone that's in there is going to work with you in some way or other. Yes, and I think that the driving question in your brain should always be, whether or not you ask it is up to you, So I've got Sibongile, I've got Sibilelo, I've got Matsiliso, I've got Lerato, and I've got Kevin, right? So, what is the role? The minute they introduce you, this is Sibongile, right? And she's under the HR. She works with so she learns with our team in this way. okay, nice, thank you. You know that, you know, and then this is okay. Usually you've met one of the people or you've talked to one of them. Yeah, and I'm Gary, the one that you've been talking to. Yeah. And I'm actually in charge of the entire team. And yeah, so you're going to be working more closely with Mercedes, and Mercedes is the one that actually does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, sure. So then usually there's a reason those people are there, right? And it's always, you need to impress all of them because you're going to work with all of them. Yeah. So her question is mainly, say you're fired somewhere, right? And you're for whatever reasons, and you now applying for this one job. And a lot of people who've gotten fired and who got jobs, in some instances better jobs. What do you do in that instance? Should that kind of come up in the interview and all of that? So the first question, the first way to answer that would usually be, I think everyone deserves a second chance. But what happened in that one instance was 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you kind of then look at your role as well as what you've learned given that you're fired. And sometimes it could be late coming, like constant late coming, and what you learned right now is that being late for work, regardless of reason, isn't good, especially for the kind of work that you do, right? Hence why I arrived at this interview 30 minutes before, because I wanted to ensure that I do not become late for it, and I'm happy preparing to fix my ways and all of that. Yeah.
So, any other tips or takeaway points that I should know, or what viewers should know about preparing for an interview that I didn't ask or mention?
A lot of people go, don't over prepare, or don't under prepare. Make sure I think that the one key thing is consistency. Make sure that your resume is consistent with what your cover letter says and what your interview is like, so what your interview is saying, because sometimes they'll refer and say, okay, so between 2016 and 2018 you worked at this one particular company. I'm really interested in the work that you were doing there, because you said that you were a brand curator, right? And we're looking to expanding something. The minute they go with, and we're looking to expanding something, just go, that's my, in your mind, and then listen right on them with it. Yes. Right on them with it.
You know what I was thinking about when you say don't under-prepare or over-prepare?
Yeah.
Prepared is to you, as not is to test.
Wow. What kind of movie is that?
Freaky
Friday, yes, imagine. She actually knows Hamlet. Wow.
Prepared
is to you, yes.
No.
It's to test. Yeah, I remember that.
Okay guys, thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Lessons for Life. Round of applause for our guest speaker, guys. Round of applause for yourself.
I'm going back to spam people.
Okay guys, if you did like that video, please do give it a big thumbs up, leave a comment down below, as well as subscribe to the channel. Okay guys, thanks, bye.